and welcome, welcome, welcome. This is SongWriters Alive. It is every Monday evening at 7 o'clock on Rocking the Valley and double broadcast out to Tom Cooney Music. It is great to be here every Monday at 7 o'clock for an hour, for a great hour of original music and some positive, creative talk about the craft. We have a special guest this week I'd like to welcome, and that's Matthew Gordon from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Thanks for coming along. We're a nascent show. We're kind of new. We're on our fourth or fifth episode, and we're focusing on live music and chat and getting some great songwriters from the region like yourself. And it's just live and a little bit of free form and some live performance as well.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, great. I will formally introduce Matthew after the first song, but we do like to get right into the music here. And I'm going to start out with a song for the harvest season. You can see all the late August harvest stuff happening. It's an original I wrote called Come the Harvest. We hoe the row, we plant the seed, arch the bow and pull the weed. We water when parched, trim to help grow. We tend our fields and we hope to sow. Come the harvest, may our baskets fill, by our sweat, by our prayer, by our goodwill. We do what we can, we do our best, and we share with this world. Come the harvest. We turn the cheek, we sheathe the sword, the way of peace, it's its own reward. Everything in life, well, it comes and goes. Living in love is how we sow. Come the harvest, may our baskets fill, by our sweat, by our prayer, by our goodwill. We give love away and we hope for the best, and we share with this world. Come the harvest. Crimson bright gold, orange deep brown, the magic of fall will come to this small town. The earth gives her bounty, she fills for spring with compassion for all living things. Come the harvest, the world fulfills the promise of spring with a future to till. We humbly pray to do our best and share with this world. Come the harvest. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. It's a great time of year. I love seeing everything coming in from the fields, and especially the early stuff. I actually love following it during the summer, like which fruits are in, the strawberries first and all that stuff. And
You have apples in the peaches in the summer, apples in the fall. Is that right?
yeah, and the corn's coming in. Oh my God, it's just wonderful, wonderful eating everywhere.
Yeah, the corn has been good. Nice sentiments in that song. I want to live in that world. That world is it eludes me most of the time, but that sharing world, that's some nice stuff in there.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it is actually. I play well when it was not when we weren't all virtual. A couple times a year, I play at the church I belong to here in the Upper Perk Valley, and I started about 4 or 5 years ago. And the music director invited me, and I said, "Okay, it's a deal. If I get to write one original song based on the theme and readings of the week, if you let me do one original song each time I come." And she said yes. I was stunned. So that was the good news. The challenging news was I had to come up with an original song, match the exact readings of what was going on that week. So,
Sounds like
and
it's a challenge to get the songs written, and you get some songs out of it, and they get music
yeah,
out of it. It's a win-win.
it's totally a win-win like that. So anyway, folks, this is Matthew Gordon from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. He is a folk player, a singer-songwriter, an Americana player. There's a touch of country in the bands and groups he plays with. There's a touch of rock and roll in it as well. Like all good musicians, he's pretty hard to categorize, which is a great thing. He'll mention some of the folks he plays with. He does play solo. He plays with the Hoppin' Boxcars, the Silver Shade Sceners.
Scenery.
Scenery, excuse me. You played with Jimmy Heffernan and the Ronstadt Gordon Band, and Matthew. As far as I can tell, there's a bunch of others as well. I want to formally welcome you to the show now.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, I play with a lot of people. I'm blessed that I've met a lot of great musicians that let me tag along, and I've with like Michael Ronstadt, he's just a phenomenal musician that I love to play with. So I snag him whenever he's in town, and lately I'm doing a couple gigs with Jimmy Heffernan, who's like one of my dobro teachers, and he's it's just fun to get to kind of play with him, and since I'm learning how to play the dobro, I try to pick up some ideas from him, and I do have my own band. We played at Folk Fest last year, the Silver Shade Scenery, and that's kind of a folk rock band. And then this year I played with the Hoppin' Boxcars, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the virtual. What Matthew's referring to, folks out there, the Folk Fest is, of course, the Philadelphia Folk Festival, the world famous one, which was in its 59th year this year. It was virtual this year, but it's a tough gig to get in the lineup on. You've been in back-to-back years. That's fantastic.
Yeah, with the two different bands, but yeah, that's it's been fun. And this year was really interesting. I thought they did a good job it being virtual, and I saw some great people, and it was fun. The Hoppin' Boxcars, I don't write any of the songs in that band, but really good songwriter Matt Cicchetti that writes all the songs, and it was a lot of fun. I'm just the dobro player in that band, but I got to focus on that. It's good to have some. To be a sideman, it's fun to have that kind of focus sometimes.
Oh, totally. I love that sometimes too. Yeah. Is there something that you want to open up with? What'd you pick first tune today?
Sure. Yeah, I was thinking about what I should play today, and I wanted to do something different. So I dug up into my old book of lyrics that had not yet been finished, and I decided to just try to finish it. And it's kind of a fun song. If I can. It's kind of, having just heard your song, now my song is not in my head, so I got to remember how to do it. Okay, I think I remember how it goes now. This one's called ATF. It always amused me that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I mean, what a combination of subjects for one bureau: alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's just like, who thought of that, to combine those into one bureau in the Department of Justice. I just always found that fascinating. So anyway, this song is called ATF. Jesus came cruising up Highway 61 on his gold and black Harley Davidson with two flags, whipping over Twin tailpipes, the POWMIA and the stars and the stripes. He had a lit cigar clenched in between his teeth. As he passed me by, he sipped the beer and winked at me. Well, it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. He said it sounds like a party to me. Well, it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Ain't that the way Jesus wanted it to be? With an iron cross sticker on his license tag and a 30-06 strapped to his saddlebag. He's got 35 bottles set up on the back fence, one for every $100 that he owes in back rents. From 60 yards we've already hit 34. After one more bottle we'll drink 35 more. 'Cause it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. He said it sounds like a party to me. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Ain't that the way Jesus wanted it to be? Well, it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It seems just like a party to me. Who brought the chips? Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Ain't that the way Jesus wanted it to be?
That was wonderful. Oh
I
my.
got that out of my system. Thank you for that opportunity.
I got to tell you, you said you were taking lessons, I guess, with Jimmy Heffernan.
Well, I go to this. I used to go. Well, for the last 5 years. This year it was canceled, but for the last 5 years I've gone to this thing called Rezo Summit in Nashville, Tennessee, every year, and they have like 20 of the best dobro players teaching. They've had, Rob Ikes runs the thing. Cindy Cash Dollar's been there. Ivan Rosenberg, Billy Cardine, Orville Johnson.
Wow.
Some of the names are escaping me at the moment. But anyway, there's like a bunch of great teachers. Sally Van Meter, and he was one of them as well, Jamie Heffernan. So I had a few classes with him. And although he lives in New Jersey, so when I got back here, I had a gig, and it was in his neck of the woods, and the guy I was doing it with couldn't make it that night. So just on a whim, I asked, "Hey, would you be willing to do a gig with me?" And he said yes very happily. And so yeah, it's a real treat to play with him. I mean, he's played with Brad Paisley and Joe Diffie and all kinds of big stars. He's won a Grammy actually.
That's wonderful. Now, for the folks in the audience, Rezo is short for resonator, and can you explain how that instrument works?
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is out of the screen here, but yeah, this is a resonator guitar. This is an actual Dobro brand Dobro. I guess I've covered up the logo with my tuner, but it's a Dobro brand Dobro that I've got playing here today. This is a Model 60, and what it is, this hubcap thing you see here is just the cover plate. Underneath there is a cone that it obviously vibrates with the sound. It's got a bridge that makes the cone vibrate, saddle, and then these are just sound holes, and it's pretty much hollow inside. And it was originally invented before they had electric guitars in the 20s, I guess it was, and by the Do Piero brothers, and that's why it's called Do Piero brothers. And they also started. I think they also were affiliated with the National company, but which made more. They're more famous for steel body guitars. Dobro is more famous for wood body guitars. But it's a unique sound that it survived even after electric guitars were invented. It was before electric guitars, they needed something to compete with banjos, because banjos were, as you know, just unbearably loud, and something had to be done to
I agree.
put them back in their place, I think. So yeah. Oh, Greg Booth is another teacher, and he plays both dobro and banjo, and it's kind of funny, he says that he says a lot of times that his dobro friends will say, why do you play both dobro and banjo? Yeah. And he'll say, well, so it's so that when I put the banjo down, I don't have to hear that stinking thing.
I agree. Now, a lot of folks in the audience are probably familiar with Alison Krauss, and I think Jerry Douglas is her.
Yes. He's been at the Rezo Summit once. He gave kind of a special class. He's kind of a superstar. He is the ambassador of dobro-ness. He is the most famous dobro player, I think, ever. Yeah. And he's just phenomenal.
Now, here's a question. Was that the first instrument you ever learned?
Oh, no, absolutely not. My first instrument was, my first instrument was probably the trumpet, which I don't play anymore. But I was in band, or maybe, I don't know, it was about the same time, I guess. My sister bought me a guitar. I was a real big Beatle fan. You might have seen a picture on Facebook of me with my plastic Beatle guitar before I played it. But yeah, so I played guitar for a long time, and that was my first main instrument. But I really enjoyed the dobro. It's just so much more fun to play, and I've kind of surpassed I'm not that great at dobro, but I surpassed whatever I was on guitar.
Your dobro playing, I have to tell you, is wonderful.
Well, thank you. It's very kind.
Yeah, it is. It strikes me as an instrument. It's a lot like listening to a flat picker on the guitar. They're playing the chords, they're playing the fills, and they're breaking off to do a little bit of lead work, all pretty much at the same time, fluidly.
Yeah, well, that's actually the goal. I mean, to make it. One of my teachers used to talk about how you have the whole band here. That the bass notes are your bass guitar, your high notes are the lead guitar, and then the other notes are kind of the rhythm section, the piano or whatever. So you try to be all those things with the band. It's very kind of you say that. That's what I strive for, but I don't think I've actually reached it. But at least I fooled you for that, so that's good.
Well, that's the great thing about stringed instruments. I've only been playing guitar since I was 13, and I think in another couple of decades I'm going to be able to do okay on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then just to make things more complicated for myself, I just I bought from Jimmy Heffernan. I bought his pedal steel guitar, a Showbud double neck, which that is the most impossible instrument. It's crazy. It's got 10 strings, and Dobro's only got 6. They're tuned crazy. Like the high string isn't even at the high end of it. It's in the middle, and it's nuts. And you got 3. For the E neck, you got 3 pedals and 5 or 6 knee levers, and
wow,
nuts. And then you got the volume pedal, so I decided I'd take that up. I just turned when I turned 60, and there's no way I'll ever master that before I.
You actually just posted your attempt, a good attempt, at a very famous intro on a pedal steel within the last couple of days on Facebook.
Right. There was a guy Evan. I don't even know him, but he posted somewhere on Facebook a clever little way to imitate that lick on the dobro, and so actually he was doing it on a lap steel, and so I it's just like a 1 30-second riff, and he taught it, and he was a really good teacher, and so it was really inspiring. I gave it a try, and that was my project for the day, and finally nailed it. So I was so excited I posted it on Facebook, like my new baby.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to get on to the second round of music, and as this is Songwriters Alive with Tom Cooney. My special guest this week is Matthew Gordon. We're on every Monday at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the evening. And we're live on Rocking the Valley and a number of other extended pages, and we're live on Tom Cooney Music as well. We appreciate your comments and your like and your shares. As Michael Duck, not for Coltrane, said, let our digital overlords know what we like. So they'll keep having us play some good stuff. This next song I'm gonna play is called "The Diamond," and it's a song about a female character who has been quietly growing and quietly biding her time from so many challenges. She wraps the sunrise round her shoulders, sweeps the stardust from her eyes, lets the morning wind blow through her hair, thinks what a gift to be alive. Alone but never lonely, she treasures the peace she has found. The expectations, the hurt, the anger, they lay hard on the burning ground. She's the diamond in the deep dark rough, sheltering a true burning love. She's learned to do what she loves. She loves what she does. She's ready for the wonder of love's honest touch. She's the diamond in the rough. She cradles the glowing sunset. She lays vespers on the wind. Today is now yesterday. Tomorrow must wait to begin. She wraps a blanket of stars round her shoulders. She lets the moonbeams fill her eyes. She bathes in dreams of renewal, of new worlds coming to life. She's the diamond in the deep dark rough. She's sheltering her true burning love. She's learned to do what she can, love what she does. She's ready for the wonder of love's honest touch. She's the diamond in the rough, sheltering a true burning love. She's learned to do what she can, love what she does. She's ready for the wonder of love's honest touch. She's the diamond in the rough.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So, is there a story behind that one? The person you have in mind?
Uh, Composite of characters. Yeah, as the songs, as you know, are like that. They can be very specific, or they can be a composite of a bunch of experiences or people. Uh,
True.
the the thing that I like about that song is it speaks to a really neat part of people as they're coming out of a bad relationship or a bad period of their life where they are they are working within and being patient and doing all the right things, and they're at this part where they're ready for change or ready for something new, but they're doing it with a pretty strong core where they're kind of settled inside. So that song was trying to speak just to that moment where the hard work is done and things might be happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got that.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I noticed in your songs one of the themes seems to be relationships as well.
Oh yeah. I have a history of bad relationships, so. But but I was gonna play a song about a relationship, but since you mentioned that idea of composite characters in a song, I think I'll play a different one. Um, this is I wasn't planning to play this, but I think you bring up a good point. Like this is a song about somebody, actually several people that died within a short period of time. One of them being my sister, one of them being a friend, and then just today I found out that Justin Towns Earl died, which saddens me as well. Uh, but this is a song about that kind of loss, and it's a kind of a composite. It's not really about any one of them in particular, but it's about all of them, and it's just the way I kind of saw them. So it's called Easter Sunday. Sitting in the Mexican rain on a Pennsylvania doorstep with a card that's getting all wet on this Easter Sunday, reading a note that you wrote from an Acapulco eatery, describing all the scenery. Doesn't seem so far away, and as the traffic passes by, I can see your blue sky. Old cars bouncing on these broken streets turn into sailboats floating on the breeze, and the bread baking on the Philadelphia air smells like your flowing hair, and your smile's on every face. Watching little Paulo chasing his sister on her bicycle gets me to feeling simpatico, thinking of when you were here, strolling down these littered sidewalks of my barrio, wishing I could have carried you, but it was not to be. Without dark there is no light, without wrong there is no right. Smoke and noise from this Scream City theater make the peace become that much sweeter. And all the new flowers remind me that it's spring. I only heard the chorus sing on the day you passed away. sitting in the Mexican rain on a Pennsylvania doorstep, with a card that's getting nowhere on this Easter Sunday.
That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's hard playing sad songs sometimes.
Yeah, it's emotional.
Yeah, it is definitely. That is also something. Was that one of the songs that was up on Reverb Nation?
I don't remember what I've got up there. It's quite possible that I put that up there. I don't remember, but it's on. I did that with my previous band, the Barn Swallows. It's on the CD there.
Got it.
And
Reverb Nation it looks like it's the main spot where people can find your music, Matthew.
yeah, that's the main thing. I try to keep that updated with my gigs and whatnot. And it's got, when I come up with a new song, it's easy to put a song up there. I also have a Bandcamp with the Silver Shade Scenery stuff. It's you would go to Silver Shade Scenery, all one word, Silver Shade Scenery, all one word, .bandcamp.com. And I have my newest song, Quarantine Blues, up there, and also my our Folk Fest set we put up there. We had a really good recording of that. So available for free streaming or download if you're so inclined.
Excellent. Yeah, and on Reverb Nation, it's Matthew Gordon, correct?
Yes, reverbnation.com/Matthew Gordon. 2 T's.
2 T's, yeah. Now, what is Phantom Engineer? And is that you?
That is that's my alter ego when it comes to my YouTube channel. That's not I put up a lot of YouTube videos, not just of me, but of friends when I see them play,
Sure.
and myself, my own band, and then some other, whatever I catches my fancy. So,
Got it.
Phantom Engineer on YouTube, and I think I have an email address associated with it, though I don't use that.
Got it. Good. And from your Reverb Nation page, I can actually see the links to some of those YouTube videos as well.
Right.
Yeah, I saw Quarantine Blues was up on your Reverb Nation page, and there was a video of it. A bunch of other stuff that you would really enjoy listening to out in the audience. There is a great song called All Right. There's another one called Phoenix. If I Stumble, If I Fall is a wonderful folk tune, as is part, parentheses, What is Friendship?
Yes.
Folk-like song, and a couple of other really good ones, See What Tomorrow and Faith. There's all kinds of really good stuff when you go hunting Matthew's music. You'll really enjoy it.
Wow, thank you, Tom. It sounds like you really did your homework. I appreciate that.
I was great homework, great listening. I don't mind this kind of homework.
Thanks so much.
Oh, that's good. And we already covered the topic of bands, kind of, but seeing how many there are, I have to ask you, are there any that we missed before I close that topic?
Let's see. I also sometimes play with the Lost Local Boys. We play at the Somebody Tavern sometimes, but that's been kind of shut down since the COVID. Nothing's coming to mind right now. But I played with a bunch of different. Oh, I used to. Well, that used to be. But so I won't listen to all the bands I used to play. But that's I played with Sarah Napolitan. We were doing. Used to play with her band sometimes as a guest. Sarah and the Arrows, and then since then we play at the hospital for Musicians on Call, but that's been shut down now with COVID too. So those are my main things. Is right now is Hoppin' Boxcars and Silver Shade Scenery and my solo stuff like tonight.
Super. Oh, and one other public presence one we missed was Facebook, and that's Matthew Gordon Music on Facebook.
Correct. Yes, that's probably the one I kind of. I keep that probably the most active, even more than the Reverb Nation. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, obviously not everybody's on Facebook, but if you are, then that's where to see me, Matthew Gordon Music.
Got it. Super. All right. Excellent. You did mention a couple places that you've played, and Matthew, obviously being someone who plays with a lot of folks and has been playing for a while, he plays at a lot of different places. We did mention the Philadelphia Folk Festival the last couple of years, and a number of other folk-related venues that I'm sure folks in the audience might recognize. The Bluebird, the Mermaid Inn, Coffee Talk, Cafe Improv, many different wineries and breweries, which are great gigs. They're kind of laid back. They're a lot of fun. Are there any particular venues that you like to frequent, or now that things are opening up, you might be heading back toward?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like playing in the little brew pub in town, the Kirshner Brothers. I just played there most recently with Michael Ronstadt. And I have a gig coming up with the Hop and Box Cars. We're playing. I'm playing with Matt Cicchetti of the Hop and Boxers. We'll play at the Freecon Orchard on September 20th. I like that. That's a fun gig. People come out and pick apples, and we play kind of country bluegrass acoustic music for them.
That orchard in.
What?
What town is that orchard in?
Oh, that's in Boyertown. It's outside of Boyertown, and you can learn about that on my Facebook page. I'll put that up in a couple of days. Then we're also the Hop and Box Cars are playing at the Cannabis Festival in Kutztown. Not that I want to endorse anything illegal or anything like that, but we were hired to play there, and it seems like it's actually a family event, and this is their 5th annual. I guess they promote legalization, also hemp products and other things like that. That'll be an interesting gig on October 3rd. But yeah, there's not a lot of gigs going on right now. But I always like to play. I'll enjoy playing the Mermaid. Hopefully that'll reopen at some point. And
that's very unique. I've played it with my acoustic blues trio. It was a gas. So we had some great local musicians sit in for a few tunes. It was just a wonderful evening.
Oh, what's your acoustic blues trio's name?
It's called the Acoustic Blues Project.
Oh, nice.
We're out of Lehigh Valley. That's with Earl Andrews on harmonica and Leon Bonham on bass.
Oh, I have not heard that side of you. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with the blues.
No.
Hard to take them though sometimes.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, well, one other show besides the Philadelphia Folk Fest, I noticed you played a couple times at least, was X Fest. And what is that?
X Fest is that's a fun group of people. Yeah, I actually won an award in 2019, I guess, last year. It seems like decades ago, but I won the award song of the year or songwriting of the year or something like that. And so I got that award, and they had me at their festival. I was introduced by Gene Shea, and so maybe it was 2018, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, they're a good group, and they have an event. I think it's next weekend at the Country Creek Winery. They'll be playing. Gene Smith Band, a friend of mine, is playing there. But yeah, they're a group of people. A lot of them are kind of originally affiliated with the Philadelphia Folk Fest, but they kind of see themselves as a little more edgy, and it's kind of like
folks. Is that the Extreme Folk Fest, folks?
Extreme. But it's more extreme. It's a little. It's kind of punk folk. I mean, you have like, I can't think of last year they had a band I really loved from Rhode Island at the festival called Bitter Pill, and from around here they had River Bones, or some of the more edgy, not typical folky, sentimental types, but more edgy, a little hard driving folk. And so it's a lot of fun. And I feel like compadre, simpatico with those people.
Wonderful. Well, that is a great litany of different venues and different places and bands and different songs and different places where folks can find your music. We'll recap where they can find your music as we get toward the end of the show. This is SongWriters Alive with Tom Cooney. It is Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are live. Our special guest this week is Matthew Gordon. And we're live on Rocking the Valley on Facebook, and that pages out to other pages from there. We're also live on Tom Cooney Music on Facebook as well. Let's get on to the third round of music, and I'm going to start it off and let me spotlight my video. There we go. Try to remember to do that. This is a song I wrote in the beginning of June that kind kind of speaks for itself. It's called From One of God's Creatures. And I'm playing it tonight because of yet another similar incident that has happened nationally within the last 48 hours. Mouth agape, eyes frozen on my screen. A crime against nature, another protector choking the life from one of God's creatures. While he begged, while he gasped, while he called the ghost of his mother, 3 accomplices looked away as if they were not like the other. He let go of his last breath, commending his spirit home. And in heaven and on earth, righteous anger it arose. Now Michael, the archangel, he called forth his heavenly horde, for he knew that the devil is only cast out by the word. And the angels came upon us, and they woke those hearts of stone. And that rough God came riding, a blinding light on his justice throne. And the haters and evangelicals cried, he's finally come, our friend. But then the light of the truth shot through them, and they were scared to meet their end. Now the battle was long and it raged, for the darkness had many evildoers. They had to use their golden privilege to institutionalize their power. Michael called forth humankind to shift the balance of the fight. This is your world to save, he cried. You must ride with us tonight. This is for all, this is for one. For George and Sandra and Trayvon, it's for the day the knee is on your neck, for this to never happen again. And we rose, one force, one mind, one heart it truly did seem. But then my eyes were opening slowly, as if waking from a dream. Mouth agape, eyes frozen on my screen. A crime against nature, another white protector choking the life from one of God's black creatures. While he begged, while he gasped, while he called the ghost of his mother, 3 million accomplices looked away as if they were not like the others. He let go of his last breath, commending his spirit home. And in heaven as on earth, righteous anger it arose.
Well done.
Thank you, Matthew. I can't believe I have to play that song again.
Yeah, it's disgusting that these things, and then how hard is it to say Black Lives Matter? I mean, it's like it's obvious, why I don't understand I don't understand a lot of things, but
Yeah, if they fully did, people wouldn't have had to say it.
right, and that's what they don't get.
Yeah, it's tragic all the way around because, as everyone knows, law enforcement is a tough job, and it's a mess all around. It's very sad.
Oh yeah, no question that it's a tough job, and most cops are good, of course. But they should all be aghast at the bad ones, and hopefully they are. I mean, that cop is no longer on the force, and the Brian Insignia, who you mentioned, Sandra Bland, and he's gone from the force. So there is some justice.
Yeah, and justice is the way to peace, is the old saying. So, and I guess that's something all artists of all kinds do. As musicians, also, we try to speak up when we can, if we think we can, and so that's kind of a good thing. Before we transition to the last round, you've been involved in a number of really neat projects. And I've had the fortune to be involved in a couple of them. One of them, you have just hosted the 18th consecutive year of the Bob Dylan Birthday Bash. This year was actually virtual, and it's been associated with Coffee Talk in Norristown, and it supports a wonderful charity there. Can you talk about that, and how has this gone on for 18 years? This is amazing.
Yeah, I do actually. This is kind of a sticky point with me, but I do believe it's the longest running one. There is another one that claims to be the 18th, but I remember that they kind of jumped from the 10th to the 15th in one year. But I love that one too, and I got to play at that one last year, 2019, and that's a terrific one. This the Coffee Talk. What that was about is I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. I don't like use the word fan very much, but I'm definitely a fan of Bob Dylan, and I just think he's the world's greatest songwriter. I mean, it's beyond songwriting. It's just it's such a part of the of society. It goes beyond mere songwriting. But anyway, so I started it back in whatever year that was, 19 whatever, 18 years ago, with Alex Eigen at Coffee Talk and my bandmate at the time, and been running it ever since. The idea of it was not so much to have star performers with a lineup in advance and people coming to watch, but it was more to have the people in a group in a song circle who also all shared Bob Dylan, admiration of Bob Dylan, and that's really what it is. I mean, there's people that have come every year, all 18 years, and some that have come, have joined in, and they've been coming every time, and they're true Bob Dylan fans, and a lot of them try, dig up the most obscure songs. We try not to repeat any, even from year to year, let alone within the year. And Alex is just a wonderful person. It's kind of a salon for people to develop community in Norristown, and she's really created a real thing there. And my hats off to her. And she's struggling right now with the loss of her husband this year, and that kind of was just right before this year's virtual bash, and she's also struggling with some health issues, but hopefully she'll come through that. But anyway, yeah, it's been a wonderful thing, and I every year I try to learn 3 or 4 new songs of his that I haven't played, and there's so much depth there to his music, and his latest record I think is his best.
Yeah,
ever.
very interesting. Yeah, last fall you organized the Peace Project for Philadelphia area songwriters holiday release project. It involved 24 different artists doing 24 different songs. Again, I was fortunate enough to contribute an original song to that, and it was the Philadelphia Entertaining Artists.
Yes, Philadelphia Entertaining Artists Community Enterprise or Endeavor or something like that.
Again, they were
mainly just to make it add up to peace.
exactly,
Of course. But.
and that benefited Phil Abundance and Habitat for Humanity, and there was a third one as well.
Musicians on Call, yeah. It was equally divided between those 3 charities. Actually, it was a little unequal because we didn't raise that much money, but whatever we had, more was given to Phil Abundance and slightly more to Phil Abundance and what was the other one you said?
Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, and Habitat, yeah, Habitat for Humanity of Montgomery County, which was based in Norristown, and then some of it went to Musicians on Call. So yeah, the idea was I mean, you contributed a wonderful song, "The Dream of the Baby Jesus." That was really beautiful, and we had so many terrific contributions. I think you said 24. I think there was actually 26, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
But it's still available on Bandcamp. That's at peace2019.bandcamp.com. And it's a wonderful set. You don't have to pay anything to get it, but if you contribute, the money will be contributed to those charities.
So, folks, as you go out there and look at Matthew's stuff, and you'll see there's also, in addition to these different projects, there's a lot of good charity stuff that he has put himself out in front of and done yeoman's effort on. I've got to tell you, it's a lot to get these things done. Everyone thanks you. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, and everybody that contributes songs, especially in these times, it's so nice to, like, recently took part in Emily Joy Goldberg's, she had one for about COVID, and just to be part of that and interact with other musicians, and today with you, it's just something that's the thing I miss the most through this COVID is, I'm not, like a lot of musicians, I'm kind of antisocial in some ways, so music is the only thing that really I live for, and so that's taken away a lot. You can't go out as much and see live music, so a lot of it's done through these virtual things, and it's just wonderful to be able to interact with you. And
it is fantastic. I want to thank you again for being our guest. And before you take us out with your last selection, again, this is Matthew Gordon. You can find him on Reverb Nation. That's MatthewGordon.ReverbNation.com. Is that the correct order?
No, it's www.reverbnation.com/Matthew Gordon, or on Facebook, just look up Matthew Gordon Music.
Got it.
And Bandcamp, it's silvershadeScenery.bandcamp.com.
Got it. Super. And do keep an eye out for his songs. They're wonderful, and his projects. Thank you so much for coming on board. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I guess I'll take it out with this. I didn't really decide what I was going to play until just now. This one's called I've Never Been This Old Before, But I'll Never Be This Young Again. Just be quiet for a second. Was it some kind of room that the cat lay in? Did I leave the door open? I mean, I just came in, welcome in, relax, enjoy me. I'm just sitting down, I'm just trying to keep going. It's good to see you, my dear friend. Never been this old before, but I'll never be this young again. Sometimes I feel so tired with the weight of the world. People everywhere up front with their flags unfurled. So many diseases that can never be cured. People believe in every crazy idea they've ever heard. I'm just minding my own business, cause I got a helping hand to lend. I've never been this old before, but I'll never be this young again. Nothing gonna change, and the future's unknown. What you do with the present, no doubt. So just take it while you can, for what it is right now. There's a thin line between a wish and a worry. The future's gonna come, ain't no reason to hurry. I don't need to borrow trouble, I don't need to feel sorry. We won't know till then if it's a blizzard or a cold. Would you argue with a fish? Would you try to debate with a hand? young again. Never be this young again. Never be this young again. Never be this young again.
That was wonderful.
Thank you. It's a quickie.
I like it. Thanks again for being our guest. Hey, Steve Jones, you're back with us. How are you, Steve?